Welcome to the Department of Housing Stability Affordable Housing Compliance Training for Build Alternative Plans. This training will help you understand the eligibility requirements, income verification process, and required documentation for the host Build Alternative Plan Affordable Housing Program. Upon completing this training, you will have knowledge of our covenant, income eligibility requirements, rent limits, utility allowance, rent calculations, initial qualification and renewal, over-income households, income and asset verification, income calculation, compliance reporting, and our required documentation. Our covenants are intended to secure the affordability of designated units. A covenant is required prior to the issuance of a building permit of any development and the offering of any build alternative rental unit. The covenant is an agreement between the owner and developer and the City and County of Denver to provide affordable housing as per the rules and regulations of the Affordable Housing Permanent Funds Ordinance, also referred to as the Housing Fund Ordinance, codified at Article 5, Chapter 27 of the Denver Revised Municipal Code. The Rental and Occupancy Covenant will provide the number of build alternative units, or BAUs, or affordable units. It will also provide rent and income limitations, compliance and reporting requirements, and the period of affordability. The income eligibility requirements for the Build Alternative Plan are as follows. To be eligible to lease a build alternative unit, a household must earn no more than 80% AMI based on the household size. A household size is the total number of people occupying the unit. Only persons on the lease as an occupant can be counted as a household member. All households must be income verified prior to leasing a BAU affordable unit. Income verification is required prior to move-in and prior to lease renewal. Income limits are updated annually and can be found on our website using the link to the left. Our rent requirements are as follows. The maximum allowable rent charged to the household is based on the size of the unit. The maximum allowable rent charged to the household is the amount after utility allowance costs are deducted. Rents cannot exceed 80% AMI. However, an owner can charge rents lower than 80% AMI. Rent limits are updated annually and can also be found on our website using the link below. What is a utility allowance? A utility allowance helps the household afford the cost of utilities. If utilities are not included in the rent but are paid by the resident, a utility allowance must be subtracted from the monthly rental amount. Allowable utilities include electricity, gas, oil, propane, water, sewer, and trash. A utility allowance is not a stipend. It is a required reduction in the rent. The HUD utility schedule model is most often used to determine the utility allowance per bedroom size. This utility schedule is published annually and is available on our website. To calculate the maximum allowable rent, please see the chart which shows that a one-bedroom at 80% is $1,759. After determining the 80% rent limit, you will need to make sure that you deduct the utilities that are paid by the resident from the $1,759. In this example, the household is responsible for paying heating, cooking, electric, water, and sewer. We've used the utility allowance amounts from the HUD 2023 UA schedule, which was shown to you in the previous slide. In this example, the allowance for natural gas is $21, electric is $6, other electric $23, water heating using natural gas is $6, water is $26, sewer is $32. Now we'll combine the total of all utilities for the total of $114. The $114 is the utility allowance. Now to calculate the maximum rent, we'll take the rent limit, which for the one bedroom is $17.59, deduct the utility allowance of $114 to receive the total of $16.45, which is the maximum allowable rent. This is the maximum monthly rent amount that can be billed to the residents in this one unit, in this one bedroom BAU unit. When rent and income limits are released by HUD each year, the property must implement them immediately for all new move-in and lease renewals. New utility allowances must be implemented within 90 days of release. When calculating rent, the utility allowance must always be deducted from the maximum rent limit. However, this does not apply when all utilities are paid by the landlord. Record of the utility allowance must be kept on file and provided upon request. At initial qualification or move-in, every household must be income qualified prior to moving into a BAU affordable unit. Prospective tenants of a BAU affordable unit must complete an application and host income verification and eligibility form or host certification questionnaire. They must meet your resident selection criteria requirements, provide verification of income and assets showing that their household income is at or below 80% AMI, and complete all required BAU documentation at lease signing. At lease renewal, every household in a BAU affordable unit must verify their income prior to signing a lease renewal. Complete the host income verification and eligibility form or host certification questionnaire. Provide verification of income and assets showing that their household income is at or below 80% AMI. To remain eligible for the BAU unit, the household income must be at or below 80% AMI for the tenant's household size. They must also complete all required BAU documentation at lease renewal signing. Rent limits change annually and may increase. A tenant's rent may only be increased once in a 12-month period. If a household income is above 80% at the time of application, the household is considered over income and does not qualify to lease a BAU affordable unit. If a household's income was at or below 80% AMI at move-in, but is above 80% AMI at lease renewal, the household is no longer eligible to lease a BAU affordable unit. The household is not required to move out of the unit. However, they are now required to pay market rent at lease renewal. Keep in mind that rents can only be increased once within a 12-month period. To replace the over-income household, lease the next unit with the same number of bedrooms, comparable amenities, and square footage to the next eligible applicant. The new applicant must meet all initial qualification requirements. The BAU affordable units are floating units, meaning that they can be changed when the household no longer qualifies for the BAU affordable unit. If a household's income exceeds 80% of the current AMI at lease renewal, the BAU can be reassigned to a household currently living on the property that meets the income qualification for the BAU affordable unit. After income is verified, complete all required BAU affordable documentation and execute at least a 6-month lease agreement. When reassigning the BAU affordable unit to a household currently living on the property, keep in mind that the unit must be comparable to the unit being exchanged, same number of bedrooms, and comparable amenities and square footage. It's good practice to keep an interest list a list of existing residents that would be interested in leasing a BAU affordable unit, maintained by the date the household expressed interest in a BAU affordable unit. Income verification will include for the employed 2 months of consecutive pay stubs. If paid biweekly, that would be 4 consecutive pay stubs. If paid weekly, 8 consecutive pay stubs. Semi-monthly, 4 consecutive pay stubs. Monthly, 2 consecutive pay stubs. If newly employed and 2 months of pay stubs are not available, a fax or email verification of employment form completed by the employer or an offer letter is acceptable. If pay stubs or employer verification form is not available, the most recent tax return with the W-2 attached, filed within the last 12 months, if it is the same employer, is acceptable. And if they're self-employed, they must complete the host certification affidavit with 2 years of federal tax transcripts from the IRS. If taxes are not available, if they weren't filed, refer to the self-employed affidavit for alternative forms of verification. When the applicant or resident has income from a source, such as Social Security, supplemental security income, pensions, or veteran benefits, a current award letter is a valid form of verification. The income verification for these sources of income must specify that it is income for the current year. For example, if the applicant or resident is applying in 2024, the award letter should either be dated 2024 or reference the payment amount is for 2024. If the household receives child support, alimony, or TANF, the household can provide a printout of their account showing monthly payments or payment history. If an applicant or resident is unemployed, they must complete the host unemployment affidavit and provide verification of unemployment benefits if they are being received. If the household receives financial assistance on a regular basis from someone living outside of the household, such as a friend or a family member, have the person providing the assistance complete the host gift affidavit. This gifted financial assistance is counted as income. Asset verification documentation. To verify assets, obtain the most recent asset statement and use the asset's current balance. Only one statement is needed per asset. Interest and dividends from assets are counted as income. A statement is required. Screenshots are not acceptable. Examples of assets are checkings, savings, money markets, stocks, bonds, profits from royalties or real estate, and payments from an estate or trust fund. A calculation sheet is required with all income verification to demonstrate how the income was calculated. Reporting is required. During initial lease-up, quarterly reporting is required. Initial lease-up is the period beginning the date a certificate of occupancy is issued and ending on the date all BAUs are fully leased. Initial lease-up reports are due March 10th, June 10th, September 10th, and December 10th. After lease-up, semi-annual reporting is required. Semi-annual reports are due March 10th and September 10th. Required reporting documents include the Affordable Rental Compliance Report, Resident Income Certification Form, Host Income Verification and Eligibility Form or Host Certification Questionnaire, the Income Calculation Worksheet, Income Verification Documentation, and Asset Verification Documentation. The Affordable Rental Compliance Report, also referred to on the covenant as the Rental Unit Report, is a required host form. It must be submitted with the income verification documentation of each household that moved in or renewed a lease within the reporting period. It's due quarterly during lease-up and semi-annually after lease-up. The Resident Income Certification, also referred to as the RIC, is a required host form and must be signed by all adult household members in BAU affordable units with the lease agreement at move-in and at lease renewal. Verification of income is required for all sources of income, with the exception of employment income of a household member under age 18. The host income verification and eligibility form or host certification questionnaire must be completed and signed by all adult household members in a BAU affordable unit prior to move-in and prior to lease renewal. Demographic information can be provided at the time of move-in. While it's optional, we encourage households to provide this information as we strive to ensure that we're serving a diverse community. Things to remember. All reports and forms must be completed in its entirety. Resident income certification must be completed at move-in and at lease renewal. Host income verification and eligibility form or host certification questionnaire must be completed prior to move-in and prior to lease renewal. All household members' income must be verified prior to move-in and prior to lease renewal, excluding employment income earned by minors under age 18. A calculation worksheet must be included with all income verifications. Initial lease-up reporting is required quarterly until all BAU affordable units are leased. Semi-annual reporting is due after all BAU affordable units are leased and are required throughout the period of affordability. Properties not in compliance may be required to do more frequent reporting until the units are brought into compliance. Properties not in compliance may have a site visit scheduled by the Asset and Compliance team to review procedures and file compliance. Required marketing. Properties with BAU affordable units must advertise on coloradohousingsearch.com. Additional marketing options include affordablehousing.com, connecting and communicating with other properties offering affordable units, Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, local housing authority, local businesses or preferred employer programs with target income employees, outreach marketing, and online marketing. BAU affordable units should be marketed as income restricted. This concludes our training. For general inquiries, contact Host Compliance at hostrentalcompliance@denvergov.org. Thank you for joining us and have a great day.